I now call this meeting to order. The DeKalb County Board of Education will meet in regular monthly session Thursday, March the 9th, 2023, 7 p.m. at the Ernest Ray Educational Center. Ms. Vickers, would you please call the roll?
Miss Jamie Cripps.
Present.
Mr. Danny Parkerson.
Present.
Mr. Eric Irvin.
Present.
Mr. Jason Miller.
Present.
Mr. Alan Hayes.
Present.
Mr. Jim Bashirs.
Present.
Chairman Sean Tubbs.
Present. The first order of business are the consent items, and they are as follows. I'm sorry.
Okay, before we get started tonight, I'd like to have a moment of silence. This week we've been hit pretty hard with past employees and parents that have passed away, and we'd like to recognize them at this time. Miss Pauline Frazier was a custodian at DeKalb West School. Paulette McDonald, she was an educational assistant at many schools here in our district for 38 years. Miss Jan Thomas's mom taught many years ago at a primary school within the district. And Mr. Mike Campbell, he wasn't a teacher, but he was a band dad that drove the pit bus and would drive the equipment onto the football field for competitions and things of that nature. So at this time, I'd like to ask that we'd take a moment of silence for them. Thank you.
Okay, the first order of business are the consent items, and they are as follows. A, the agenda. B, approval of minutes from February the 9th, 2023 regular monthly meeting. C, approval of the GP budget amendment. Item D, approval of the budget amendments 142. Item E, approval of DCHS HOSA to attend state convention April the 4th through the 6th in Knoxville, Tennessee. Item F, approval of the DCHS FFA to attend state convention March 19th through the 22nd in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Item G, approval of DCHS boys soccer to attend Smoky Mountain Invitational Tournament March 24th through the 26th in Gatlinburg. Item H is the approval of the ESSER 3.0 addendum. Item I, approval of DCHS FBLA to attend the state convention April the 2nd through the 5th in Chattanooga, Tennessee. J, consider an act on joining the purchasing cooperative, Equalis. K, approval of volunteer behavioral health. Are there any of these items anyone wishes to have further discussion or have any items pulled?
Make a motion, we approve.
We have a motion made by Mr. Parkerson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Cripps. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Item number 2 is to consider an act on the DCHS prom. And if you guys recall, at the last monthly meeting, Ms. Morgan Walker and her fellow classmates requested a change in the policy to our prom as to who can attend. And after much discussion, Mr. Miller tabled that issue.
With that being said, I'd like to make a motion we untable that act so we can take a vote.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Irvin. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? And that motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion, if that's right, to be able to take a vote on the high school prom to allow students from other high schools in good standing, the same as what students we have here. I remember Mr. Curtis and Ms. Norris both saying it's pretty simple to check on them and to get approval or to get a little background check or whatever from from the other administrators from another school. And I've been speaking with Mr. Scott Bennett, DeKalb County School lawyer, and he says, you know, pretty much just kind of sign a little a waiver from the other school, and that pretty much releases any liability. So, but anyway, with that being said, I'd like to make a motion to vote where the students could invite another child from another school that is in good standing at their school to attend the DCHS prom here. And if that child from another school was to act up or whatever, do something out of line, just let it be known that their administrators would take care of that child the same way that Mr. Curtis and Norris would handle our own children here. So, and I'm saying high school children, I think when you're out of high school, I think your prom days are done. So I'm just referring nobody out of high school. I'm just referring to people that's in high school and here have literally earned the right to go to prom. So due to grades and a few other things. So anyway, that's what I'd like to make a motion on, Mr. Tubbs.
Okay, so Mr. Bashirs has made a motion. Is everybody clear on his motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Mr. Miller. Any further discussion? Okay. We'll need a roll call vote.
Mr. Danny Parkerson,
Pass.
Mr. Allen Hayes,
And I vote no.
Mr. Jim Bashirs,
Yes.
Mr. Eric Irvin,
Yes.
Mrs. Jamie Cripps,
No.
Mr. Jason Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Sean Tubbs.
No.
Does not pass.
That motion does not pass. Next item is number 3, to consider an act on DCHS hosting the 2023 prom off campus. You need to elaborate.
It'll just be held in Lebanon at the theater that's been held at the
Capitol
past.
Theater.
Capitol
Okay.
Theater.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
I have a motion made by Mr. Hayes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Cripps. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that motion carries. Item number 4 is to consider an act on contract with ProCare Therapy.
I talked to you in the workshop about the interpreter for one of our students at the high school. This would help with that student meeting their academic needs.
Okay. Do I have a motion that we approve?
Make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Miller. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Hayes. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? And that motion carries. Item number 5, consider an act on amendment to occupational therapy contract.
Also, as we talked about in the workshop, the number of students needing occupational therapy has increased, and this would be an additional contract to meet those needs of those students.
Okay. Do I have a motion that we approve?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Ms. Cripps. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Irvin. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? And that motion carries. Item number 6, consider an act on board policies 1.106, 1.107, and this is on first reading.
And these policies were sent to us by TSBA. 1.107 is an entirely new policy to the board.
Do I have a motion that we approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Mr. Miller. Do I have a second?
second.
Second by Ms. Cripps. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Number 7, consider an act on surplus property.
You have a list of several computers and laptops as well as other equipment that comes from a trailer, air compressors. Those are listed and we'll take bids on those.
Okay. Do I have a motion that we approve?
Make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Irvin. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bashirs. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Item number 8 is the personnel report from the Director of Schools.
The only thing we have is Miss Callie Benacourt taking a leave as requested.
Okay. Is there any further business that may properly come before the board?
I'd like to make a motion the DCHS Tigerette softball team be granted permission to go to the Hickson Wildcat Classic softball tournament on March 25th.
24th and 25th?
I'm sorry, I didn't see the 24th, yeah.
Okay. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Miller. All those in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed? And that motion carries. And before we end, I'd like to say a happy birthday to Mr. Dwayne Page. Yes, we put you on the spot. Okay. Do I have a motion that we adjourn?
Motion.
Motion made by Mr. Irvin. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Miller. Sure.